Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to this month's Vanners collaboration. We're a group of like-minded people that give you our take on a particular subject each month. And this month it's how do you combine your hobbies with motorhoming? You'll see everybody else that takes part, their logos going past up here, and links to their channels, to their videos and to the playlist are in the description down below. So, how do we combine our hobbies? Well, the first one, our hobby is motorhoming. So that's a bit of a no-brainer, so I'm not going to go on about that. So it's combining other things. But our motorhome is really our home, and we use it as much as we possibly can. So really, it's home from home. So our hobbies aren't really any different. So, take this for example, paddleboarding. Well, when the weather's fit for it, and certainly isn't at the moment, I'm not going to be paddleboarding in Storm Bert, but we live on the seafront, so I can take my paddleboard across the road, onto the beach, and I'm away. And we can take it with us on the van, and I can use my paddleboard whenever and wherever I want. As long as there's water, that is. So the next hobby, again quite an obvious one, is photography. Alan loves his photography. I'm the one that generally uses the GoPro, but Alan's the one that does all the wonderful drone footage and the nice bits with the nice camera. So it gives him a good reason to use his camera. And I think we've seen so much more since we've been motorhoming and YouTubing, because we're seeing things we probably otherwise wouldn't see and taking so many photographs. And Alan also puts them up on Blackbox and sells them from time to time. So it's a hobby that combines brilliantly with motorhoming. Next hobby, let's just think motorbikes. How could I not refer to motorbikes? As some of you may know, we've got a KTM 390 Adventure in the back of our motorhome. And yeah, it's great riding around the island. My motorbike is still here in Guernsey, and I don't ride it very often, but I do ride it. And we use the KTM, and I'm pillion on that, obviously. In fact, I did try to ride it, but it's a bit too tall for me. The result was a broken foot. So that wasn't very clever. But that aside, the KTM is brilliant, especially when we're on the continent, because we don't tow the car on the continent. But you can go a bit off-road in it, you can get to places, and we've got two panniers. And combined, they take 14 bottles of wine. So we really enjoy the motorbike. Take a look at Alan going up the mountains near Benidorm. I wasn't on the back for this, but he had a hell of a time. Next hobby. Well, I've mentioned photography, but drone flying is kind of a bit different, and it gives you the opportunity to go places and actually make the most of your drone. And you will have seen that on the footage from our past videos. And I have to say, I think Alan's quite good at it. More of that later when we move on to another hobby. And for me, reading. I love to read a good book, but when I'm at home, I don't get a chance. When I'm on the van, I sit outside, glass of wine, hopefully the sunshine, if not with a good coat on me, and I sit there and read. Look at the size of this book. All that was done in a few days on the van. Since I've been home, I haven't made any progress into finishing it, and there's only that little bit left. So that's one that isn't so often done at home, but is more than often done on the motorhome. Next hobby is going places, seeing things, seeing places of interest, historic things like castles, and that's not just in the UK, that's all over Spain and France and Portugal. We've done it, and we've been to some wonderful places. Things that stand out to me: Bodiam Castle in Sussex, I think it is. It's near Hastings anyway. Another one, Caceres, World Heritage Site, absolutely stunning. And I guess one of my all-time favourites, and this is where the drone footage comes back in, is the viaduct, the Welland Viaduct, where Alan was able to fly the length of the viaduct and even went under one of the arches. That's places to see, things to do, and to combine it with the drone and the photography, so the whole thing comes together really quite nicely. Other hobbies, well, one of my other hobbies is gardening, but I'm afraid that doesn't combine with the motorhome at all, unless you actually think of it this way. When we've been away for a long time, we come back and there's masses of gardening to do. We couldn't conclude on our hobbies without mentioning drinking and the food that goes with it as well. So, food and drink, whether it be what we cook or going out. So, Alan makes a pretty mean pizza, but I wouldn't let him do that on the van because we'd have flour all over the place. And we make a pretty mean burger as well.
Right.
And of course, while you're cooking, you've got to have a tipple to go with it. So we combine that with our motorhoming, but we also enjoy it at home as well. So, home from home, food and drink, and it wouldn't be good, or at least it wouldn't be in the tradition of the brilliant Keith Floyd if we didn't have a tipple or two while we were doing it. So, that's our take on combining our hobbies with motorhoming. Please do watch everybody else on the playlist. Subscribe, not just to us, but to other people, and give us a thumbs up if you like. And we'll catch you on our next video and on next month's Vanners collaboration. Cheers.